on a very sad milestone tomorrow, with being the fourth week. Basically a month since Summer went missing, and I just wanted to check in with you all and see, if there had been any new developments or anything had changed.
Nothing.
No.
That's real discouraging. Only God can turn this around at this point.
How is your family coping?
No, my wife ain't doing too good. She's not doing too good at all. She's pretty upset.
I can imagine.
Is she upset because she's missing Summer, or is she upset because she has guilt?
Is she needing help or anything, or?
No, just kind of some anger issues, and and all this stuff on the social media is just,
I know that's out of line. That stuff's out of line, way out of line.
Yeah.
And so Candus has anger issues and the stuff on social media. So why does she keep reading the shit on social media? If she has anger issues, why would she read anything on social media? TBI has already stated that they are watching social media very closely. So if anything would come up, TBI would know about it on social media. So why would Candus be glued to social media? I mean, usually they say that the guilty party is always puts themselves right in the middle of everything. They want to look like they're trying to help with the investigation. They want to be in the know. Is that what she's doing? I'm curious.
Yeah.
How are your kids doing?
They're coping with it okay. They're doing okay. I'm upset. I've just made the decision. I made up my mind not to let Satan win.
Mm. How do you do that? What steps do you take personally?
To not let Satan win?
Yeah.
Not let him get down. Not to, I could be down and not go back to work and let it affect me in every way, but I can't do that.
Well, you still got a family to raise also, I guess, too, don't you?
So,
He doesn't know how to answer that because he's not as religious as he is trying to portray himself to be, in my opinion. He doesn't know ways to make sure that Satan doesn't win because he's not as religious as he claims to be, in my opinion.
so I still got to move forward. I still got to go to work. I still got to try, even though I miss her and wish to God it was a way, but we live in an evil world. I mean, I ain't the first one, to lose a family member, or all kind of tragedies been happening since the beginning of this creation. There's been all kind of bad stuff going on. It does seem kind of like a bad dream or whatever. Yeah, it does. And my memories of summer and everything, that's what kills me, because we had such a great love for each other. She loved me, and I don't know why I've never had someone love me that much in my life. And so it's been awesome, between me and her. And so it's killed me since she's been gone. It's just, at first it was just so horrific knowing that someone abducted her and the cops are looking all around her house, knowing that she's not there. It's like, it's like you're just talking to yourself, this ain't doing no good. But,
He's frustrated that the police are not following his narrative. Well, sorry, Dawn, but history has shown us that we can't believe everything that everybody says, especially when they're family of a victim. I think about Lori Vallow. Her kids were safe, according to her. They were hidden and they were safe. Damn right they were, because they were in God's hands, buried in her future husband's backyard. And Letitia Stout, oh, when Gannon comes home, he's going to tell you that I did not hurt him. I can't wait for him to get home to prove to you all that I didn't hurt him. Knowing that Gannon, that poor little boy, was already deceased. While she was on her high horse preaching to anybody who was watching the news. And Casey Anthony, don't get me on Kaylee. That poor baby girl. So sorry if we don't believe the parents. And everybody is saying, oh, leave the parents alone. They're grieving parents. Yeah? So was Casey Anthony. So was Letitia Stout. So was Chris Watts.
I wish the police would have blocked off both ends of Beach Creek and everything else and kept it contained in our area, because I'm sure she's hundreds of miles away. You know, I can't blame them or whatever, but I'm upset. I'm really upset, you know. But it's too little too late now.
I guess this is probably, I don't know if
I mean, if she was abducted, and if he is not guilty of anything with Summer, I can understand the frustration. If he wholeheartedly believes that she was abducted, kidnapped, trafficked, whatever his scenario is, his narrative that he's pushing, if that is true, I can understand his frustration. But unfortunately, we can't take it as factual information. And I'm sure that law enforcement was looking into all possibilities. I'm sure that they were looking into every lead that they had. And just because the searchers were physically searching that 5-mile radius around their house does not mean that they didn't have other agencies or other agents that were out there looking into other leads. I'm sure that they were not just focused on Summer running away. I have more faith in our law enforcement than that. So I do believe that they have looked into every possibility. I have to. I have to have faith in our justice system. Because there's nothing that I can change about it as one person. I can't serve justice to whoever I feel is guilty. Law enforcement has all of the details. They have so much more than what they're sharing with us. We all know that. We know what has been shared all over Facebook. We know all the rumors. We know what we've been told and what we've dug up ourselves for those that do their own investigations. Now multiply that by probably about 25, and that's what law enforcement knows. Everything that everybody is spewing all over Facebook, this fake freaking insurance policy that Candus and Dawn took out on Summer 2 months before she vanished. Do you really think that they thought that that was going to work? Do you really think that if two parents went to an insurance company and said, I want to get insurance on my one child, not all 4 of them, just one, and then she vanishes 2 months later, that insurance company is really going to pay that insurance claim out? Plus, they have to wait so many years If they do not find a body to prove that that person is deceased, they have to wait so many years before that person is declared deceased. And then they have to wait for the payout after that. So that means that if they did this for an insurance claim, that they wouldn't get paid for what, 10 to 20 years from now? I mean, come on. Let's think logically, please. I don't know what happened to Summer. I don't have the facts because I wasn't there. I don't even have my own theory for sure. I have an idea of what Summer lived through up through June 15th, 2021. I have a very strong feeling of what I think she lived through and what her family life was like. And that's what I'm sharing when I share my reading videos. But on June 15th, we don't even know for sure what happened that day. We know what Candus has said. We know what David has said. We know what Dawn has said. We know what Allie has said. We don't know what actually happened because we are not law enforcement. We are not able to go view security footage from Walgreens picking up a prescription or from the grocery store buying gallons of milk. We don't know what time they were there. We have no idea. Law enforcement knows, though. If Candus left her house at 10:30 in the morning but didn't pick H up, picked H up around 10:30 in the morning, but then didn't go swimming until around 12:30. We don't know what happened in that 2-hour time span, but I guarantee law enforcement does. And then supposedly the video that Grandma accidentally took of Summer in the back seat on the way home, that was taken at 3:09 p.m. We don't know for a fact that video was taken at 3:09 p.m. We were told by Candus that video was taken at 3:09 p.m. We're relying on what we've been told, not fact-based information. So pretty much everything that everybody comes up with is a theory. Keep that in mind, please. We don't have the facts. Law enforcement does. So if Summer was abducted, if some stranger came and abducted her and took her to Mexico, like Dawn is saying, law enforcement knows way more about it than we ever will. But I can understand his frustration if that's what he really believes happened to his daughter, and he had nothing to do with her disappearance that day. If he had nothing to do with her disappearance that day. We can't just run with one narrative. We can't base our opinions on what one person says. We can't believe one person. We have to listen to all of the stories, because somewhere in all of those stories, the truth is in there somewhere. So we have to listen to all of that. We have to take notes, however you want to do it, mental notes, write it down, whatever. Pay attention to each detail that each person says. Because in every one of those stories, they're telling us bits and pieces of the truth. So compare all of the stories and see what actually lines up. And listen between their words. Listen to the way that they're wording things, especially Dawn. Dawn has been wording things so weird So weird. And I know that he's watching social media. I know that Don is all over social media. In the beginning of this video, which this is on Evil Exists channel, and I'll share the link in the description box so you can go subscribe. This channel is awesome. He's been all over social media. He's been posting all over Facebook. He's been commenting to people. I don't know where, because when I looked at his page, he had not responded on his own post. So I don't know if he's responding in groups or what. I haven't gone into the groups because I don't have that many hours in a day to get lost in a group right now. But he's watching what they're saying. And I think that that plays into this interview. So we're going to listen a little bit more. I haven't listened to this whole video yet. You can see down here, the white line down here at the bottom. This is how far I got into this interview. And all just in this short little bit right here, I can tell that he's been basing what he's about to say off of what he's seen on Facebook. Okay, let's keep going.
This is something that has been on your family's mind, but you've got to kind of move on with the business of living. And I guess one of the things is your kids have to go back to school, and I was wondering if you all had given any thought to that, and if that's going to be if that's something that's going to be hard to take them back to school.
Well, I mean, I don't know why, but they're dealing with it okay more than me, and they're doing a lot better than me and Candus are.
Mm-hmm.
Not why that is, but I don't know. Because when I was in school, one of my guys, one of the kids that was in school with us, bought his son a shotgun, and somehow it accidentally went off and killed his dad right in front of him. When we never did see that kid back in school again, but that was his daddy, though. There's a difference, I guess. But I mean, maybe my kids are looking at it like, well, maybe God will bring her back, or I don't know. But statistically speaking, I mean, there's a good chance she's already dead if you look at it statistically.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate to think that. I love her with all my heart, but only God, if nothing else, I'll see her in the resurrection. As long as I keep the commandments and I do what I'm supposed to do, I'll see her in the commandments, mm-hmm. if that's the case,
Mm-hmm.
And Don's been saying that this is the case almost from day one, right? I mean, hasn't he been saying from day one that first he thought that she was abducted and that she was being tormented and tortured and kept in a basement, and that was like the first 2 weeks. Okay, well, now we're 4 weeks in. In the first 2 weeks, I struggle with this because we all have a picture of what we think a parent should act like if their child was missing. We all picture ourselves if God forbid something happened to one of our own children. And some of us have had that feeling, even if it was for 2 minutes in a grocery store or 5 minutes in the neighborhood. We've all had that feeling of, oh my gosh, where's my child? If you're a parent, I don't know any parent who hasn't ever had that feeling. You freak out. You freak out. Just like with Trezell and Jackie, saying that they would like to go look in all the neighbors' houses. Okay, Don said the same shit. There's a lot of similarities between Trezell and Jackie and Don and Candus. A lot. And I've seen way more than I care to see. And that doesn't help me look at Don and Candus as innocent parents at all. I think that may have, I don't want to say clouded my judgment, but it has definitely made me step back, and reevaluate certain situations or certain things that have been said. But I always look at things with an open mind. I don't let one thing cloud my judgment completely like that. Even if it clouds it for a second, I snap out of it, wake up and realize, hold on, let's look at it from this side. Let's look at it from this side. Let's go over to this point of view. Let's look at this perception. You know, I always try to see it from every point of view. But I still keep going back to there are a lot of similarities. A lot. But Dawn's narrative from day one has pretty much been, she's been abducted. Somebody has her. Somebody is torturing her, hurting her, abusing her. And it's almost, that part reminds me of Trezell, as in when he said that the boys really love to wrestle. They really love to get rough with each other. Okay, and then here comes Dawn saying, I think somebody's torturing her. I think that somebody's hurting her. Okay, so why? Are you letting us know that when she is found, she's going to have bruises or marks or broken bones or some sign of torture? Is that what you're letting us know? Because that's exactly what I feel like Trezell was saying. If you find the boys, when you find them, if you find them, they're going to have bruises. And I could be totally wrong. I could be absolutely, totally off my rocker. And if I'm wrong, I'll admit that I'm wrong. I will. I'm not too proud to admit when I am wrong. But I don't see trafficking in either one of the cases, the West case or this case. And I know a lot of people do. And is it possible? Absolutely. Absolutely it's possible. My gut feeling tells me that it's not probable. And that's just my gut feeling. Okay, let's continue on.
So is it going to be just kind of back to business when school starts and the kids are going to go back?
Yeah, we ain't got a choice. We don't have a choice, you know.
Mm-hmm. I was just wondering if there was maybe any kind of fear or concern just to let them out of your sight after.
Well, yeah, definitely. We was sending them down, you know, to the school bus by themselves, you know, but.
Okay, here's the thing. Wait a minute. I was going to say, you do have a choice. You don't have to send the boys back to school. Most schools have been offering the virtual e-learning option. Or you could homeschool. But that would require Candus to be their teacher. So maybe Don is right when he says that they don't have a choice. That they do need to send their boys back to school. Yeah, I could see that. I could see them wanting to send the boys back to school. And just being real, being honest in what we've seen, especially after Dawn just admitted that Candus has anger issues, I don't think it would be good for Candus to try to homeschool the boys. And I also, and not in a bad way, I'm not saying this bad, I don't believe that Candus would be able to homeschool the boys with her level of education. So, I mean, I couldn't. I would struggle. My son is getting ready to go into 5th grade. I am not smarter than a 5th grader. I would struggle with homeschooling my 5th grade child. So, I guess that I could see them wanting to send them to school. Now, if they did some kind of remote learning where they had, a teacher on Zoom where the boys could stay at home and have different classes at different times and have a teacher to listen to while they're at home, that would be a good option. But I don't know if schools are still going to be doing that since the restrictions have lifted on the COVID cooties. So, I don't know. So I guess that really is their only option, is to send the boys back to school. Glad I talked myself through that. Okay, sorry about that.
I don't think we'll ever do that again.
Mm-hmm. Do they get picked up at the end of your road there on Beach Creek?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And of course, you're back to work, and the kids are going back to school. So it seems like there's no choice but to try to return to some sort of normalcy within this horrible event.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm not going to let Satan convince me to go drinking or whatever. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going down that road. I choose life.
Mm-hmm.
Choose God.
Okay, wait. And please tell me that there was a cut in that clip right there. That we did not just go from talking about the kids going to school and the bus stop to Satan. Let's go back and listen.
Horrible event.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm not going to let Satan convince me to go drinking or whatever. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going down that road. I choose life.
Mm-hmm.
Choose God. And that's probably, I've never, before in my life I was weaker, and just the least little thing would be the excuse to go get drunk or whatever, but not no more. Not. And this is the most horrific thing that I could have ever even thought of happening.
Mm-hmm. Has your theory about what happened to Summer changed any since we spoke a couple weeks ago?
No, she was abducted. There's, I forget how you put that, reasonable deduction, or however you say that.
Mm-hmm.
You're taught in school, but by that theory there, yeah, she's been abducted in my mind, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
I know Candus wouldn't lie to me about any of the facts. She has no reason to, she wouldn't lie.
I think somebody said...
It almost sounded like he was trying to convince himself right there that she wouldn't lie to him. She has no reason to. She wouldn't. Listen to that again.
Candus wouldn't lie to me about any of the facts. She has no reason to, she wouldn't lie.
I think somebody said, or you told the media that she was lie detector test, and you took one also. And,
yeah.
Well, and that you all were cleared of any suspicion as based on that.
Well, I don't know if we were completely cleared, because that's not admissible in court.
Yeah.
But yeah, we both. At first, I didn't get no sleep for 2 days. I couldn't sleep. I was, it was the worst misery and pain I've ever felt in my life. But I wasn't able to take a lie detector test. They made me wait a little bit, but when I did take it, I passed.
Mm-hmm.
They made Candus wait 5 days longer to take hers, because she just wasn't able to. She tried, and she wasn't able to. It's not, people are saying that we failed and we took another test. That's not the case.
Mm-hmm.
We just weren't able to. So when we did take them, we both passed,
Okay, so wait. The first story that he told on Jay is for Justice channel, he told Jay that he went in to take his test and he kept nodding out because he was so tired, because he had not slept. So they told him to come back and take it again. When Candus went in, it was showing signs of deception. So it was showing that she wasn't passing the test. And they said that it was because she was so upset. Or Dawn says that it was because she was so upset. So he went back the next day and took his, and she went back 5 days later and took hers. Now, we don't know if they have passed or not. because law enforcement will not say that. So we can't rely on the lie detector test at all, in my opinion. We have no proof whatsoever if they were deceptive on their answers on any of the tests. And didn't I hear somewhere that Candus took 3 tests? I don't know if that's just a rumor or if that's something that came from Dawn. I can't recall right now. Help me out. Leave me a comment. Let me know where am I getting that from? I was thinking that there were 3 times that she had to take the test. I don't remember. Okay, but anyway, we can't rely on their lie detector test. So, and this also tells me that he has been watching social media because they're not submissible in the court of law. Well, that's because he's been told that. Dawn didn't know that before this happened. I almost guarantee that. That's my opinion. It's not fact. My opinion. But I bet he didn't know that before all of this happened. So he's been told that. Why was he told that? Who told him that? See, that's what I mean. Like, we have to look at it from all angles, all perceptions. We have to see it from every point of view. So what? If they did take their test and they both did pass their test, what does that mean? What if they both did take the test and Dawn passed, but Candus failed? That's why she had to go back a 3rd time, if she went back a 3rd time. What if they were so jacked up, drunk or high or intoxicated in some manner, the first time they tried to take the test, and that's why they had to go back and take a 2nd test? What if they both failed all of their tests? What if it showed signs of deception on their last test that they took that Dawn is saying that they passed? We don't know. Law enforcement is the only ones who knows that. Why does he think that he passed the test? Why does he think that? Because he took the test and didn't get arrested? Because that's not how the lie detectors work. They don't give you a polygraph and then arrest you because you fail your polygraph. I don't think they can legally do that. Even in states that the lie detector test is submissible in a court of law, I don't believe that they can do that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe they can. So they both could have failed their test. They both could have shown signs of deception on many of their answers. What if they showed signs of deception on just one answer? We don't know. But for him to say that they passed, that's insinuating that they answered every question and had 0 signs of deception on any of their answers. I find that very hard to believe. Myself, my personal opinion, I find that very hard to believe. So, that's my opinion on the lie detector test. Okay, let's keep going. What's your opinion? Like, I want to know what you guys think about this. What is your opinion on the test? I've seen people talk about the test, and I've seen lots of different points of view of the test. But tell me below in the comment section right now, tell me, what do you think? Do you think that they passed their test with flying colors, no signs of deception at all in any of their answers? Or do you think that maybe law enforcement lied and said that they passed their test, which law enforcement is allowed to lie? Or do you think that Dawn is basing the the statement that they passed the test on the fact that they haven't been arrested yet. What do you think? Like, what is your point of view? Share with me. Please, share with me. Okay, let's keep going now.
Test.
I imagine that if it measures changes in your blood pressure or something based on if you tell a lie, your blood pressure changes. But if you're tore all to pieces, then your blood pressure is probably changing anyways.
Well, the way it works is kind of it measures your brain's activity too. And whenever you lie, you have to think about that lie. When you stick with the truth, it just comes out. You know, the truth is the truth.
Mm-hmm.
But when you lie, you got to think about that for a little bit, and your heart might jump just a little bit or whatever. You know, they look at all that. Yeah.
Okay, so let's see what Google has to say on how a polygraph test works. Okay, so I've already pulled it up, but I haven't read it yet. Let's see. What is a polygraph? In short, polygraph tests record a number of different bodily responses which can then be used to determine whether someone is telling the truth. They usually measure things like blood pressure, changes in a person's breathing, and sweating on the palms. Can an innocent person fail a polygraph? The cumulative research evidence suggests that CQTs detect deception better than chance, but with a significant error rates, both of misclassifying innocent subjects, false positive, and failing to detect guilty individuals, false negatives. Can you fail a polygraph by being nervous? Let's see. According to a report from the National Academy of Sciences, a variety of mental and physical factors, such as anxiety about being tested, can affect polygraph results, making the technique susceptible to error. Unfortunately, once you have failed a government polygraph test, there may be little you can do to... Okay. What makes you fail a test? Oh, you can fail the test simply because you don't quite understand the question or overanalyze the question each time, if the examiner gave you clarification multiple times. Okay, so I know from watching TV shows, including Dr. Phil, the lie detector test, the person that administers the test, they go through and hook all the stuff up to you around your chest, your fingers, your head, your, I don't know, heart rate, your blood pressure, like all of that is hooked up. They ask you baseline questions. So they make you feel comfortable by asking you the baseline questions. And then that way they get a baseline reading. If your anxiety is high, it's going to read that high anxiety during those baseline questions. So when they get into the questions about the actual incident that they're questioning, your baseline should still be about the same if your anxiety is high. Now, if you have no anxiety when you go in, but then as soon as they say, "Did you kill so-and-so?" and your anxiety spikes and your blood pressure goes through the roof, then that is probably going to show signs of deception, right? I would assume. I've never taken a lie detector test, so I don't know for a fact. I'm just going off what I've seen on TV. As seen on TV, and we all know how that works. Okay.
So, do you...
It's easy to tell the truth, put it that way.
Yeah.
You know.
So did they, I know this is a hard question to ask, but did they ever do any questioning of your sons also, or any kind of...
Yeah, they've taken them into specialists because I guess can't come out and question them. But yes, they have questioned all of them.
Mm-hmm.
They even give mother-in-law lie detector tests.
Oh, wow.
And she also passed.
Okay. So this, I mean, I didn't go up to your house.
Okay, wait a minute. Grandma Candy had a lie detector test done too, and she also passed. Again, how do they know that they passed? That would be my question that I would want Don asked. If anybody speaks to Don, and they can ask him on Facebook or during an interview, ask Don, why does he believe that they all passed their test? What makes him believe that? Did law enforcement come right out and say, Don Wells, you passed your polygraph test? Did they send him a letter in the mail after their results were analyzed saying you did not show signs of deception on any of the questions you were asked during this polygraph test? Or are they just going off of the fact that they haven't been arrested? Why does he believe that he and his wife and his mother-in-law have all passed their polygraph tests? That is my question.
When they took the roadblock down, I didn't want to just bust up there and uninvited, but I did go to the end of your driveway and look up. And I mean, that's for somebody to go up there and not knowing what they're going to find. It seems highly unlikely because it's straight up, and you can't see where you're going. You don't know what's ahead of you. And
we've had several people sneaking around there though, and that's. I mean, we've had them sneak around at night, in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
We've never had somebody up there at 5:30 in the afternoon that we know of, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't come up the driveway. They come up a dog trail from the woods.
Oh, okay.
They didn't come up the driveway. And that dog that they used, that's where the scent took them, was down through the woods, not the driveway.
Where did the dog scent end?
Okay, wait a minute. In the very beginning, Don has always stuck to the story that the dogs lost scent at the end of their driveway. That they went down the driveway to the road and lost scent on the road at the end of the driveway. So what is he talking about here? This dog path trail through the woods? Now the dogs went into the woods?
At the road, Ben Hill Road is where the dog scent ended.
Oh, man.
Yep. So that right there, you know, I already knew all that, but that there just confirmed it for me.
Yeah. Do you still believe that?
Okay, so that's what he just said. They just lost the scent at Ben Hill Road. Okay, that means that they went down your driveway. What are you talking about, this dog path in the woods? Does anybody know? When I look at the overhead picture, let me find that. Okay. All right, so let's open this up here. Okay, so here's their land. Okay, this is Grandma Candus's trailer down here. This is their house right here. And then this is their driveway right here. And this is Ben Hill Road right here. Okay, so this long-ass driveway that leads back, you can't see shit from Ben Hill Road because of all the trees. Is this the dog path that he's talking about through the woods? Or is there a dog path through here somewhere that we can't see from this overhead view? What is he talking about? I am so confused because this is Ben Hill right here. This is their driveway to the end of Ben Hill. This is where he is saying that the dogs lost Summer's scent. Right there at the end of the driveway and Ben Hill Road. Where is this dog path through the woods that he's talking about? So he's saying that the dogs didn't go down the driveway, that they went through a dog path through the woods. and they lost scent when they got up to Ben Hill Road here. But he stated earlier, at the end of their driveway, they lost scent at the road. Correct me if I'm wrong. What am I missing here? Help me out, because I'm confused. Help me out, please. All right, let's keep going.
Do you believe that she's still alive? Do you have any intuition that she might still be out there somewhere?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
All I know is, I believe in God. I don't believe in any psychic stuff.
Oh man, that stuff's horrible that they've had on. I've seen it on YouTube. That's terrible. Why would somebody? That's the morals of a person that would put that out there. What they've been saying.
We had somebody made a fake account with me, and then they put on there to some other woman that I buried her body at the lake, and so the TBI has been out the lake. They couldn't get a hold of me because I was in church, but they've been out there looking for her body. It's just ridiculous what people are doing, and they're going with these psychics and what they're saying and doing whatever they can to get their story out there. But the Bible says clearly it's an abomination.
Right.
Because when you do a psychic and you're talking, to your dead relatives or whatever, that's untrue, because Jesus made it clear that when you die, you sleep until the resurrection. You are in no conscious state whatsoever. You are just unconscious, asleep, as Jesus put it, until the resurrection. So if you're talking to somebody, it's an evil spirit.
Let me ask you this. Is there anything...
Okay, so let me elaborate on this a little bit here. I am not psychic, but I do talk to spirit. And they are not evil spirits that I talk to, Dawn. Okay, let me clarify that. And I guarantee that the person who made a fake account of you claiming that you buried your daughter's body out at the lake was not a psychic that did it. I promise you that. It's some little troll on Facebook that wants to cause a ruckus. Any psychic that is sharing information that they have been given from spirit, it is because they want to help. Not because they want to throw a wrench in everything that the police are doing. It is because they want to help. I know that's why I have been doing my stuff, is because I want to help. I don't give a shit about what you think or what you say, Dawn, because we have no proof that you're innocent in all of this. I care about Summer. Summer is my focus. So the way that you interpret the Bible has nothing to do with all the psychics or all the people that speak with spirit. I hope that people realize that. The Bible is interpreted in so many different ways. Why do you think that there are so many different types of religion? Using the same book, but they all perceive it in a different way. They read something and they believe it to mean something different than the next church. There could be two churches directly across the street, different religions, using the same Bible and have totally different beliefs. And that's Dawn's belief. Dawn's belief is that anybody who speaks to spirit is speaking to an evil spirit. Okay, well, I can promise you and prove to you by going back and watching things that I have done on my channel, I don't speak to evil spirits. I refuse to speak to anything evil, negative, or demonic. And I state that very clearly before I even try to speak with spirit, whether I do it during a reading or I do it during a spirit box session. I refuse to speak to anything evil. Now, again, I guarantee that the trolls that are putting the bullshit out are not psychics or people who speak to spirit. The channels that I watch that speak to spirit, they let people know that none of their information is fact-based. It is not factual information. It is, we have to put a disclaimer out that it is entertainment only. But there are several law enforcement agencies that use mediums, that use psychics, and they have been very successful in locating missing people, solving crimes. I mean, that's facts. That is factual information. Google it. So I have a major problem with that bullshit. I saw the post that Don made about psychics. And there were so many people in the comment section. I think that post had more comments on it than any of his other posts. There were over 2,000 comments on that one post. And everybody was stating their point of view, their interpretation of scripture, and they were calling Don out to be wrong. So it's all in our perception. It's all how we see it. It's all how we interpret it. It's all in what we believe. Don doesn't want to believe in psychics. Okay. Well, if a psychic is the one that cracks his daughter's case, maybe he should reevaluate his views on psychics. And that's just all my opinion. All right, let's keep going.
That your family needs, like, is there anything that the community can do aside from tipsters and things like that and information? But is there anything that you people in your family need that the community can help
the
out?
only thing that, I think we're good on everything. The only thing that I wish is, there's a country that, and the way these kids are coming up missing left and right, and all the drugs, man, we need to send our military into our own country. That's my opinion. We send our military everywhere in the world to fight terrorism. Well, I think it's time we turn them.
I'm sorry, what does that have to do with how we, the people, can help you, your family? What does that have to do with how we can help you?
Into our own country to fight terrorism. They can't seem to catch these guys nowhere. We need our military.
Mm-hmm.
To put them to some good use. I mean, that's what I wished.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I know you're on break and probably need to let you get back to work. I was wondering, do you think Mrs. Wells would want to meet and talk any more about how things are going?
Nope.
Is she up to that?
Right now she's so tore up and stuff. It's just getting worse for her.
Yeah.
I mean, it is, and it's bad for me too. I'd do anything to have my baby back, but I got to put my faith in God. I mean, if it wasn't for that, I would have lost it a long time ago.
Okay, so no, Candus is not willing to speak. Candus is not willing to speak. No, sorry. Why? Because when she speaks, she says too much. Don thinks that he has this all under control, that everything that he says is okay. But Candus, nah. She can't speak, because she's just too tore up about this. I call bullshit on that, in my opinion. And that's totally my opinion. I think that Candus knows a hell of a lot more than what she has said or what Dawn has said that she has said. And I think that that's why Candus is not speaking, because she'll slip up. And that's just totally my opinion.
So, I mean, I got to pray to him and pray that she's okay, that he'll pull her through with his mighty right arm, with his might, whatever. But some people like God, because the police can't come up with nothing. Now, all these people on Facebook all over the world can't come up with nothing. Nobody can. Only God can.
Right. This is in 30 years, I've never seen anything like this happen.
Me either. I mean, I've never seen it in my life. I mean, when I lived in Houston, Texas, when I was a kid, it was pretty bad up that way. But all kind of crazy stuff like that.
Okay, can somebody tell me what this lake is right here? This is the first time I've seen this picture. What is this lake right here behind Summer? Because in my first reading that I just uploaded on my channel, I talked about a pond that was about the size of a football field that had no boats on it, and I saw ripples in the water. And behind Summer over here, these ripples right here are exactly what I saw in my vision. Like this area right here, I feel like that is exactly what I was shown. Not this greenery here, not the bushes, but this back here. Where is this? What is this lake? Or this pond? Or this body of water? Where is this? Somebody please tell me. Okay.
But there was never somebody that just disappeared
Oh my
without a clue
goodness.
that I know of. I'm sure it happens, but not that I've ever seen in my life.
Well, when there's an abduction, I mean, what else would you call it?
Yeah.
Disappearing. I don't understand that.
Well, the West boys just disappeared. And there's no proof that they were abducted. They just vanished one day. Orrin and Orson West from California City, California. They were 3 and 4 years old when they were reported missing on December 21st, 2020 by their adoptive parents, Jacqueline and Trezell West. Check it out. I have it on my channel. Lots of videos about the boys on my channel. They just vanished. And they still haven't been found. 7 months. Almost 7 months. And they still haven't been found.
You know, but yeah, somebody was either hiding in the weeds there, waiting for either come in the basement. But yeah, I mean, we weren't 30 feet. They weren't 30 feet away when she got gone. Yeah.
Why does he call it when she got gone? Why does he say it that way? When she got gone. I've never heard of somebody being abducted or disappearing or vanishing as got gone. Is that a Southern thing? Is that a Tennessee thing? Is that a Don Wells thing? Like, I've never heard of that before. Okay, let's finish the rest of this video. We're almost done here.
I mean, maybe 40 at the most.
Right.
I don't know.
Okay.
So somebody got her.
Well, I sure appreciate you talking to me. I didn't want to call too much and be a pest, but after, it's been a couple weeks, I wanted to check back in with you.
Okay, sir. I appreciate you.
Okay. All right. Take care. I'll be praying for you. All right.
Okay, so... Whew. All right, that's the end of that. That was a lot. That was definitely a lot. I'm looking forward to reading your comments after hearing this. I will definitely leave the link to evil_exist channel in the pinned comment below this video. Head over, subscribe to them. They're really good. They put up little pop-up videos with very important information, and basically it's just the facts. Here's what was said. Here it is. Here's what I saw. There's not a lot of opinion. It's a robotic voice that talks. Like, it's a pretty good channel. And I am very appreciative that they put this up because I had not seen this yet. This interview, I guess, was just done yesterday. So thank you to Evil Exist for putting this up. I appreciate that. What do you think about everything that Don said? How do you feel about everything that he said? I feel like he has definitely been watching social media, obviously, very closely. Candus also. And you can see that when you watch this video over on Evil Exist, you'll see screenshots at the very beginning of things that Dawn said and that Candus said on Facebook. I'm not going to share that on my video because I don't want to take Evil Exists' entire video from them. But that information is pretty interesting. So definitely, you'll definitely want to check it out. I'm very curious what you have to say. I'm done with my opinion. I've put it out there. Now you know. Make sure that you watch the video that I just uploaded previously to this video. It is my first reading where I elaborate on all of my notes. I will be uploading another video soon, which will be me elaborating on the notes from my second reading. I am also almost done with a video that I'm going to upload for another victim, a child, Breezia Terrell. Her nickname was Bree, so I have been felt like I feel like I should be calling her Bree. But that story really tugged at my heart, and it was a special request for me to cover her story also. So that's why I looked into her story. It's an ongoing story. Her alleged murderer was just charged with murder charges just recently. So justice is getting served for Bree, thank God. So I'm trying to include all of the information that has been put out there about Bree. We just went past her 1-year anniversary. So I definitely want to get the video out as soon as I can. So I'm going to finish that up, and then I have a few other things that are in the works. So please make sure that you're subscribed and ring the bell and hit the all option on the notifications so that you will be notified every time I upload a video, because I am a busy bee. I promise you that. My whole video editor app right now is full of videos that need to be finished to be uploaded right now. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. Please hit the thumbs up. What do you think about Dawn's words? Tell me all of it. No judgment on my channel. We don't judge you for your opinion over here. So tell me your opinions. I love you bunches. Until next time.